Right. Welcome to the third session on machine learning, and we'll be covering decision trees in this. Decision trees, unlike the regression analysis you studied in the previous two things, is completely different. The topics used here are totally different than the topics used there. So uh, keep a fresh mind before starting here, and you don't need to. If you now watch the previous two sessions, it's cool. You'll still understand this session. It's actually kind of easier. But yeah, let's start. Okay, the decision trees are quite simple. Ignore the huge diagram; it's just for show and it's not that complicated really. Decision. Has anybody heard of binary trees or something? And it yes no question. For example, uh, if the a basic question, are you hungry? If the answer is yes, then you'll eat. Answer is no, you won't eat. That's essentially a decision tree. Uh, that's essentially a decision. This one, what do you call? Prototype of a decision tree. So the goal of a decision tree is to create a model such that the class or value of the target is simply learned by making tiny decisions. For example, like I said, if you're hungry, yes, then you make the decision that you have to eat. If you're not hungry, then no, you make the decision that you're not to eat. Decision trees are of two types: categorical decision trees and continuous variable decision trees. Categorical decision, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of, sorry, uh, I might not be able to hear your, this one, see your chats and what do you call, see your chats and show the presentation. It'll be recommended if you guys switch on your mics and speak if I ask any questions. Thank you. Right. So where were we? Types of decision trees. So we have two types of decision trees: categorical decision trees and continuous variable decision trees. Pretty sure you guys have heard of categorical variables. Those are basically classes. For example, types of animals, types of plants, then class whether the mail is spam or not, etc. Something that can be represented by whole numbers or natural numbers. And continuous variable decision tree is where the focus on the target variable is basically a set of continuous numbers, that is a set of real numbers. Can anyone tell me what type of tree this is? Is it continuous or categorical?
Categorical.
Right, exactly. Because
Categorical.
because there are because types of animals are basically types of birds or animals are basically categories, right? So this is a basic binary tree. So it starts with whether the animal has feathers or not. If he has feathers, then obviously some kind of bird, right? But there are birds which cannot fly. So the next question is whether he can fly or not. If he can fly, then he is a hawk. Uh, Assuming there are only four classes in your data set, and if he cannot fly, he's a penguin because obviously penguins can't fly. Uh, then coming to if he has fins or not. If he has fins, obviously he's a dolphin, and if he doesn't have fin, it's a bear because bears don't have fin. Anyways, so now what a continuous variable will look like is something like this. Suppose you have gender. So you have gender, whether it's a male, pardon me for my handwriting, the mouse is uncomfortable, or a female, sorry. Right. So if he's a male, let's assume what do you call it? His height is greater than 5'11". Uh, Excuse me for a minute. I'll be back. I get my mouse. Sorry about that. Right. Sorry about that. So basically a continuous variable will look like this is suppose the gender and he is male or the person is male or female. If he is male, then we check his height. If he is greater than 5'11", let's say yes, then let's assume his weight is 80 kgs. Else his weight is 50 kgs. and female if the height is greater than is equal to, let's say, 5'6", and let's say the weight is 60 kgs, else the weight is 40 kgs. This essentially is a continuous variable tree because there are no categories here and the weight can be any number. This, for now I put powers of 10, but you know the weight can be 66.5, 55.5, 50, 52, etc. It's almost uncountable. So this is essentially a continuous decision tree. So let's break the decision tree. The decision tree has basically three type of nodes. One is the root node. The root node is basically how the decision tree starts splitting. In this case, the root node has feathers, and the second type of nodes are called decision nodes or internal nodes. Internal nodes are nodes such that they have an incoming link as well as an outgoing link. So this has an incoming link, also has an outgoing link. This has an incoming link, also has an outgoing link. And now terminal nodes or leaf nodes, they are nodes which only have an incoming link but have no outgoing links. So basically this terminal node has nothing but has one incoming, no outgoing, one incoming, no outgoing. This is essentially how you construct a decision tree. Now let's start with this very famous algorithm called the ID3 algorithm. ID3 algorithm is one of the types of decision trees. It's not the only type of decision tree. There are algorithms such as CART and etc. It's pretty much the same level of complexity. Still, ID3 algorithm is the most popular algorithm which is used by default by any of the libraries like sklearn. To explain this algorithm, I'll be using this data set. This data set basically is what you call considers these four factors: the outlook. I'm sorry for that. Considers the outlook. Okay. Considers the outlook, temperature, humidity, wind, and makes a decision to play tennis or not. So if the outlook is sunny, the temperature is hot, humidity is high, wind is weak, they won't play tennis. And similarly, overcast, hot, high, weak, they will play tennis, and etc. 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 So I'll be using this data set to explain you the ID3 algorithm. The first step of ID3 algorithm is to select the root node. Now there are four variables which we can select to make the decision. But how do we know which variable to select as a root node? Do we choose outlook, temperature? Do we choose outlook, temperature, humidity, or wind? We cannot decide that. To decide that, we first need to learn about entropy and information gain. Entropy, I'm pretty sure many people might have studied in chemistry about entropy. Entropy is something called as degree of randomness or in order. So higher the entropy, higher is the randomness in the data. That means higher the entropy, it'd be tougher to it'd be tougher to predict the decision with respect to that. So this entropy of decision is essentially the entropy of this column. Entropy of this column is basically entropy of decision. So the entropy formula is minus P of S into log 2 P of S minus P of no into log 2 P of no. Now what is P of S? P of S is pretty self-explanatory really. So there are basically 14 variables in this, and probability of yes in the 14 variables is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So P of yes is equal to 9 by 14. Similarly, P of no is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. P of no will be 5 by 14, right? So this is the entropy of decision is calculated as minus 9 by 14, which is P of S, into log 2 9 by 14, P of S again. This is log to the base 2, okay, came up by mistake. Minus 5 by 14, P of no, and log to the base 2, 5 by 14, which is equal to 0.940. Right, so this is basically how random the decisions in the decision column is. it's very high, that means the yes or no can be randomly put. There is no particular order to it, etc. 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 Next, now to calculate calculate what column to start with, we need to calculate. For example, let's start with wind here, right? So wind has two parts. Wind has two things, either weak or it is either strong. So we need to calculate the entropy when wind is strong as well as when wind is weak, and then compare it with the entropy, entropy of the decision. That itself is what you call information gain. So what I mean by information gain? Information gain is such that we compare the entropy of the decision column to the entropy of each of these columns, and whichever difference is the highest, that will basically be your root node. So if your information gain of the wind column is highest, the root node will be wind. If the information humidity X, and so on. So we start with let's calculate the entropy of the wind such that entropy of decision such that wind is weak, right? So it'll come down to this table. So where all wind is weak here, right? So now ignore all the four columns and calculate entropy again, right? So entropy is basically minus P of S into log to the base 2 P of S minus P of no into log to the base 2 P of no. So you have this is quite ulta, but it's okay. 2 of 8 is what I mean. And this one probability of no. So 1, 2. So and total is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. So P of no is equal to 2 of 8. And P of yes is 1, 2, 3. Let me change the colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So P of y is equal to 6 of 8. Right, so you calculate the entropy and you end up with 0.811 as the answer. Does anyone have any doubts at this point? Because next entropy you guys will have to calculate and tell me. Okay, I'm assuming no doubts.
When you said we need to see whichever has the most amount of difference.
I'll come to that.
You just did. Oh.
I'll come to that. I have not come to that. That part is here. I'll come to that. Okay. Any other doubts?
No.
Okay. Alright. Can anyone calculate the entropy decision strong here? Just give me the entropy. The formula is here. The table is here.
Is it 1?
Yeah, it's 1. Nice. So it is 1 because it's pretty obvious, right? It's 1 because there's 3 no's and 3 yeses. It's even. So obviously it will be 1. Nice catch. Now coming to information gain. Don't worry about the huge formula. It's weird, but it's damn simple. So basically, like I said, information gain is something where you calculate the difference between the entropy of decision and the weighted average of the decision of wind. Entropy of wind. Now, like I said, I didn't calculate the entropy of complete wind, right? I calculate the entropy of decision provided the wind is strong or provided the wind is weak. I'm sorry, I was telling entropy of wind. It's actually entropy of decision provided wind is equal to weak. So this is basically called the weighted average of the entropy of decision provided in the wind column. So we calculate this, and if the difference is high, then that basically becomes your root node. Similarly, we calculate for all the four columns. We calculate for wind, then we calculate for humidity, we calculate for temperature, we calculate it for sorry, what was the other one? I think outlook. We calculate for all the four columns to finally get gain. And whichever gain is highest, we settle that for the root node. So the gain of decision in wind is 0.940 is the entropy of decision which we calculated here. This is 0.94 entropy of decision. And 8 by 14 is P decision provided wind is weak. We calculated it before as well. Entropy of decision provided wind is equal to weak is 0.811. And probability of decision provided wind is strong is 6 by 14, and into 1 as like I don't know who told, I'm sorry, is 1 is equal, that is essentially 0.048. The gain of decision provided wind is 0.048. Any doubts?
I have a doubt.
Right.
The root node is taken with respect to the highest gain by calculating the overall entropy of every like wind,
Like yeah,
the
exactly.
wind and the
So you have gain,
okay.
you have gain, decision, wind. Then you calculate. Let me come here. Then you calculate gain, decision, outlook. You calculate gain, decision, temperature. You calculate gain, decision, humidity. You calculate gain, decision, wind by using this formula. And this formula replace wind with humidity everywhere, and humidity. I think. Let me see. Humidity also has two. Outlook has three, right? So you replace. You make. Where is it? Yeah, you make this wind is
Decision
equal
with
to
respect to
sunny.
humidity as well.
This is with respect to outlook.
Oh, okay.
Outlook. So you make this outlook is equal to sunny, minus outlook is equal to rain, and minus outlook is equal to overcast. So you'll have three things here instead of two, because wind has only two categories, so you put two here. Now outlook has three categories, so you put three over here, and that's
Yeah,
it.
got it. Yeah.
So, like I said, we calculate gain for each and everything, and we end up with these gains, right? So, which,
Excuse me,
yeah, go on.
can you explain this part? What is P of decision wind equal to weak? How do you calculate that? I didn't understand.
P of wind decision. Okay, wait one second. So the P of decision wind is equal to weak is essentially this 8 by 14. My bad. I should have explained that. Sorry. You want to first? Right. P of decision when wind is weak is basically what you call how many times weak occurs in this column. I forgot to explain that. I'm really sorry. So weak comes once, twice, thrice, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 out of 14 times. That is essentially P of decision when wind is equal to weak. Similarly, strong will be 6 by 14.
Okay.
I'm sorry I didn't explain that. Right, see 8 by 14 and 6 by 14. Okay, so now like I told you, whichever is the highest gain will be your root node. So you have outlook as your root node over here. Now this sunny overcast rain are not actually your next columns in decision tree, but just as a what do you call side variables. So the sunny should come with outlook when the data when the data set is, when the day is sunny, outlook when the day is overcast, outlook when the day is rain. These are not columns. Make sure to remember that. Okay. Now like I told you, these are not columns. Let me extend the arrow here. Right. Now how do I continue the decision tree? Next I have to put something here, right? How do I know what to put here? So how do I know what to put here? Again, I repeat this entire process, how I selected the root node, but with I'll assume D is the data set such that D and outlook is equal to sunny. So split the data set such that outlook is sunny. So you will get something like this. Only sunny is here. You remove overcast, remove rain, so you get like 5 inputs, right? So this is basically outlook when it's sunny. Now Now we check that whether all the columns, all the what you call variables are same or not. So if all were no, then you would directly write if it was sunny, then it is no. Otherwise, what do you call? Since we have different categories here, we have to calculate the entire entropy and gain process again. So we get something like this. So you calculate this is outlook is equal to sunny, this data set for temperature. Again gain when outlook is equal to sunny for humidity and output for wind. Now which is the highest? Humidity. And it's pretty obvious, right? Because humidity is so what do you call? When humidity is high, then decision is obviously no. But when humidity is normal, the decision is yes. So it makes sense that it is the highest gain. So you get something like, yeah, you get something like this. So the outlook is sunny, so you have humidity over here. Then if humidity is high, then if it's normal, yes. Like I told you, if why didn't we do the entropy process here again is because humidity has a straight up distinction. When it is high, it is no. When it is normal, it is yes. So we don't need to calculate the entropy for temperature or wind again. We just have a direct connection between decision to decision and humidity. Similarly, overcast is directly yes. That's because when you split the data set in respect to overcast, the decision is always yes. No matter what happens, the decision will always be yes. People will always go to play tennis when overcast is yes. So it does not depend on these columns at all. So as soon as the outlook is yes, overcast, the automatic output will be yes. Similarly for rain, you calculate entropy and you get this wind as your next node. And again, there's a clear distinction between strong no and weak yes. I don't have a table for that, I'm sorry. And that's essentially it. Do you guys have any doubts? Because I think we have reached the end. Yeah, I know it's a bit early, but decision trees don't have much in the topic. It's a small topic, but it's highly powerful.
Can you tell the formula for information gain again, like
Right.
any kind of a general formula, something like that?
General formula is what do you call it? You have gain is equal to entropy of target variable. You guys know what target variable is, right?
So target variable is like the outlook, the wind, the humidity,
No,
etc.
those are not target variables. The target variable is decision. Because you're
Okay.
attempting to predict the decision. These are called,
Okay.
what do you call? I don't remember what they're called. I think they're called, I don't remember the name, they're called something. Yeah, these are called dependent variables because the decision depends on these. And this is called the target
Okay.
variable because no dip target. So we have
Okay.
entropy of target, that is essentially entropy of decision, minus probability of, suppose I'm calculating gain with respect to wind, right? Probability of target when d1 is dependent variable 1, that is wind over here, is equal to the category in this dependent variable 1, so CD1. I'm sorry about the brackets again. Right, and then entropy of target variable such that d1 is equal to, one second, this is not good. Can you see my whiteboard?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
visible.
correct. So you are, so you have E, sorry not E, you have G of T comma C1 is equal to C1 such that is equal to E of T minus E of T minus P of T such that C1 is equal to D C1, that is category and DC, I will ulta, into entropy of decision, entropy of target such that C1 is equal to DC2. This is the second categorical variable. Sorry, this is the first categorical variable. And then plus T of C1 is equal to DC2. So the second categorical variable. I'll explain better in the slideshow. I'm sorry about my handwriting. I don't have much experience writing a mouse. Right. So here entropy of decision when P of decision is equal to V. Right. So entropy of decision is entropy of target variable. Then P of target variable such that categorical variable 1 is equal to category 1 into entropy of decision such that category variable 1 is equal to category 1 minus. So if you put this entire thing in brackets, this will eventually turn into plus, right? So your P of this target such that category variable 1 is equal to category 2 into entropy of target variable such that category variable 2 is equal to category variable 1 is equal to category 2 and so on. I know it was a little bleak. I'll try to write it down and give it to you in the slides. I'll send the slides over to the group.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry about the writing.
No problem, no problem.
Any doubts?
Yeah, why is it called entropy?
I have no clue why it's called entropy, to be honest. But I think it's a measure of it's called because it shows how randomly the data is distributed. So when in chemistry, as far as I have read, entropy is the degree of randomness.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. So if the degree of randomness is lesser and lesser, then means the data table is more organized and we can predict better. But if it's like blindly, it's blindly thrown away data, like randomly oriented, and the degree of randomness will be very high and it will be very hard to predict. And that's why information gain, because the reason why we can't predict alone on entropy is because there's a lot of randomness in some variables and we will never know what to choose as a rule. And that's where information gain comes in, where you compare the randomness of the target variable and the weighted randomness of the normal variable and select the highest difference between them. The concept is a little weak in me as well, but yeah, that is
But,
it.
yeah, I understood. One more thing. The decision at the end, the yes and no's, is that learned by the computer itself, like by the machine itself, or is it something that that is already feeded in by the data set? I'm not able to hear you. Like your voice is very faint.
Your voice is very faint for some reason.
Hello?
Yeah, now it's better.
Now you're audible.
Was it like this the whole presentation or only now?
The last 10 seconds.
Okay, alright.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think I forgot your question. Could you repeat again? Oh yeah, the yes or no one,
Okay,
right?
my question was, yeah, the yes or no. Is that learned by the machine or is it something we already give it as a part of the data?
You're giving the no or yes column here, right? So it already knows that the output can only be no or yes. You can't give some garbage value. It has to be no or yes. You can't have anything.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
this is a kind of supervised machine learning, right?
The target variable to be hawk, pigeon, dolphin, bear. These four categories. Here the target variable is yes or no. In continuous variable, the target variable will be a continuous random set like weights or heights or etc. So this is completely supervised, kind of like the target variables and dependent variables are similar to regression analysis, but the algorithm is completely different.
Okay, yeah, understood.
Anything else?
Can you go to the tree one?
Which tree? This?
The final tree,
Final
which
tree.
no, the final.
This?
Yeah, so where you're just given like a bunch of columns at the starting, right? And that you divided into further into these.
Right. Because we have four columns, right? Outlook, humidity, and wind. Now temperature is not needed here because by the time we get to temperature, these things produce a better result than if we add temperature to it. Temperature would just be redundant. It's called a waste column.
So how would you decide if temperature comes in the same level as humidity and wind or below humidity and wind?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question. Why do you want it to
Okay,
come?
so outlook. No, see, outlook is at the first, is the root, right? And
Right,
humidity and wind are at the first level.
right.
Right. Now if you have like a bunch of columns, like does one of them be root and all the rest of them come on the first level, or will they be like some will be in the first and some will be in the second? Is that a thing?
First you select the root node by calculating the information gain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you divide it into what you call their categorical variables. So sunny, overcast, rain. Then for this node, you check if there's a direct relation, like overcast here. Overcast is a direct relation. Whenever it's overcast, the decision is always yes. So overcast is a direct relation. We don't calculate entropy again here. But here there is no direct relation because no and yes is randomly put together here. So since there is no direct relation, we calculate the entropy and information gain here again. So after calculating that, we get humidity as the highest gain. So we put humidity over here. Alright.
Yeah.
So now after you're done with humidity, you
Okay, I
check if
got
there's
it.
a direct relation. High, whenever humidity is high, its decision is always no. Humidity is normal, decision is always yes. So there's a direct relation, so high, no, normal, yes. You don't have to take temperature or wind in consideration. Simple.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Any other doubts? Yeah, I think that's all. Before leaving, I recommend you to watch one video, which I'll share a link of soon. It's by StatQuest. I don't know if all of you have heard StatQuest. Sorry. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think my screen froze. One sec.
yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, my screen froze. Anyways, I'll send the link in some time. Just anyway, otherwise Google what do you call StatQuest decision trees. It's an amazing video. I explained the ID3 algorithm here, right? There's another algorithm called CART, where they use something called a Gini index as instead of entropy and information gain. It is kind of easier and sometimes produces better results for categorical variables. I recommend checking that out. I'll post it on the Discord channel as well. And thank you for attending. If your last doubts are there, I would love to clarify them, else we can end the session.
So when we were calculating entropy,
Right?
we multiplied by log base 2 of the decision. So
Right.
for example, if I'm assuming that's because we had a binary solution in a target variable. So if we had multiple, would we change the base according to the number of categories?
I
Or?
don't think so. It's always locked to the base 2.
Right, so what does that log
Because-
term represent
okay.
then? I didn't quite get that.
Okay, if you're wondering that log to the base 2, take an example of a continuous decision tree. What will you do then? Will you take log to the base infinity? You can't, right? Thank you too for sending the
I
link.
guess that makes sense, but exactly why are we taking that log over there if we just need to find the...
I haven't read the paper for entropy, and it's a very old paper. It's a little bit complicated for me as well. But I'm not quite sure, but that's the formula everybody uses. I'm sure it's pretty log-based to everywhere. There's no direct relation to it. I think it's derived by a huge set of things, and and if I derive it now, I won't understand, nor will you understand.
Okay, thanks.
Any other doubts?